I don't think I've ever seen or played in a test match where the conditions over 5 days were so appalling as that Madras test match. It was terrible. You know, the humidity was bad. We're there at the wrong time of the year. That Buckingham Canal outside the ground stunk every time there was a breeze come up.
The Buckingham Canal runs right alongside the stadium. It was an old waterway for traders in the time of the British that has now become an open sewer as a result of the sprawl of urban Madras, overflowing into the nearby Bay of Bengal.
The waft that was coming across the ground from the Buckingham Canal, where there was sort of these mysterious gases and green slime sort of slowly moving around the ground in this canal,
is suffocating enough. But then, as the breeze comes from the wrong direction, the Buckingham Canal does play its role, just to add to the mysteries of India, if you like. Just the stench coming out of the open sewer that is the Buckingham Canal.
The opening ball of the series was sent down by Indian skipper Kapil Dev, but only rarely did he beat the bat.
Jeffrey, Robert, Marsh and I decided that Australia would really get off to a good start, so no matter what we had to do, we had to try and do that for everybody else, because it was really, really hot on that first day and we had to continue through.
Openers Marsh and Boon settled in quickly as the temperature hovered in the high 30s. Marsh even prompted Dev to remove himself from the attack after only his third over.
This time, Jeff Marsh manages to beat the two men on the offside.
20-year-old paceman Chetan Sharma tried to extract life and paid the penalty. Next ball, Boon repeated the treatment as the Australians built an opening stand of 48. Dev had introduced spin after only 7 overs and he was finally rewarded. Marsh on 22 played across Yadav's line and top heads to the Indian captain.
We'd pretty well established our opening pair with Boon and Marsh, and who was going to fill that pivotal number 3 role.
I get this call from the skipper, Alan Border, come to my room. Went to his room, he said, sit down, you want a drink? Thanks. So we sit down, had a Pepsi or water or something, we were just talking, and he said, right, you're my number 3 for the next couple of years. Do you want it? And he looked me down the barrel, do you want it? I said, well, I've been waiting 2 years.
The thing that sort of swayed me was that he was a very good player of spin bowling, used his feet very, very well, had all the shots, was prepared to advance down the wicket to get after spinners. And so that's, in my mind, tipped the scales in his way.
And number 3 positions, just think of the people who batted number 3 for Australia in the past. And think about what you do, you've got to do the stuff that they did. I'll keep thinking of Bradmans and Chappells and all these type of stuff, And
he was absolutely rapt to be given the opportunity again to bat at 3, pivotal role. He knew he had my confidence and support, so I think he left the room just, 10-foot tall, bulletproof, ready for action.
After 1 hour of talking to me about what's required as a test cricketer and as a test batsman, a number 3 batsman, I walked out of that room feeling 10 foot tall. I just thought I was invincible. I just felt Alan Border put a red coat around my neck and put number S on the front.
Newly promoted Dean Jones made the most of his chance and punished anything loose.
Nice job. Full toss, Banaka, straight right.
David Boon was Australia's first-day hero with a mostly patient but sometimes savage innings of 122. Sharma seemed determined to expose Boon's hook shot, but with no success.
Does the same thing again and gets away with it again.
As Jones and Boon went on the attack, the stifling heat took its toll.
It was so hot and the energy levels were just completely sapping out of us, because it's a bit like a tennis player playing the serve and volley game. I knew it was hot. Halfway through between lunch and tea, when Chris Rekamp, a local, he said, you know how hot it is here, Dino, today? I said, no. He said, when I was driving here this morning, I saw the rats running away. All the local rats. I know it's hot then.
The heat in Madras. Chennai, there are only 3 weathers: hot, hotter, hottest. So it belonged to the hotter category.
You can normally cope with a clean, hot heat, but when that humidity, which it does in Madras, gets very high, it's like walk a lap and the sweat starts coming through the eyelets in your shoes. and it's very taxing.
David Boon's 100 was his third in Test cricket and was finally helped by some Indian generosity.
I almost became a bit dizzy and hazy and couldn't focus on the ball, and then the second new ball came along.
In desperation, Kapil Dev finally took the new ball just before stumps, and Sharma got the message. A magnificent hand by the young Tasmanian, including 21 fours.
So I was really disappointed to get out at that late stage, and Ray had to come in as the night watchman for about 15 minutes. But you know, pleased to get 100, but disappointed to get out in that fashion.
I look up and get a bit of a shake, and there he is telling me to get the pads on, and I just sort of started to get butt out, and he just said, just do it. So when the captain tells you to do it, you just did it.
If the players had hoped for some relief from the oppressive heat, it was not to be. The cement of the tiered concrete stadium continued to be baked by the broiling sun and was almost too hot to touch.
I don't think they played today in those conditions. I think they would say it was harmful to your health. It really was quite ridiculous when you look back, and it was so hot and so humid that you'd just step outside and it was like walking into a furnace.
When play resumed this morning, night watchman Ray Bright showed complete disdain for India's best bowler, Ravi Shastri.
And this could be a fix, yes. It was just about over the line.
Not to be outdone, Dean Jones advanced from 88 to 96 with 2 spanking boundaries. The first a square leg,
No question on my mind that I'm cutting that off.
and the second, high, wide and handsome through mid-wicket.
Yeah, that's about what he thinks.
Then Ray Bright's gone saying, Jesus, it's hot. God, I know it's hot, Ray. I was here yesterday. Look, just... And he said, Jesus, it's hot. And I could see him. He's going crimson red and he's starting to blow up, you know.
I ended up holing out for 30-odd because I virtually just couldn't hold the bat in the end, and I didn't really know. I was in a fair bit of trouble. They got the doctor, but I had no idea what was happening. I was almost sort of not with it at all.
He was basically gone. He was shot, almost reduced to tears.
Jones, playing in only his third test, defied insufferable heat to reach his maiden test century with this on-drive from Shastri's bowling. It was the achievement of a player who had learnt to curb impetuosity and work for his runs.
Look at that.
I was thinking, oh, I've made 100, test 100, you know, you made it. But my brain was saying, hang on, there's more to come here. I'm not worried about the 100, I want to get more.
Jones even overshadowed his illustrious partner Alan Border in a stand of 178 for the 4th wicket as both men overcame India's bowlers in the testing conditions.
The tragedy of it was played in India because it didn't get the publicity, it didn't get the recognition. It's one of the great innings ever played, one of the gutsiest innings ever played.
And I think Dean Jones, I've never bowled against a better batter ever in my life. I mean, he didn't let me pitch the ball, really. The moment I would flight the ball, he was there at the pitch of the ball. And it was a lovely sight. You know, there are some times in your career when you enjoy being hit. And I think that was one innings I really enjoyed being hit because I was giving him that challenge that come out, step out and hit me. And he would accept it every time.
It got to a stage where I started to cramp up in my hands, and you get pins and needles in your hands, and your hands start to go up with that. And you push your hands out trying to stop the cramping, and then I swept one and I started to cramp up in the back leg, and then it started to cramp up my back, and it got to the stage where I think I was in the mid-170s or something, and I knew I was in trouble because I started to urinate in my pants and I couldn't stop it.
He would hit me for a boundary, go to mid-wicket, vomit, come back, do that again. It was amazing. I mean, I was just thinking that he's going to get out, he's going to get tired, but he never did.
I've got to admit that I wasn't overly concerned. It was just, he's a bit crook, you know, and throwing up. But you know, you have these little fits of nausea, then you get back into the stream of things, and you might feel crook again. And
I said, AB, I've had enough. I'm stopping the game. This is stupid, me vomiting every 2 minutes. We're on TV, you know, and every time I hit the ball in the outfield, I can only walk one. I can't run. I'm cramping up. I can't move anymore.
I was sort of in the situation where I'm thinking, well, I know what James like. I can cajole him into, you know, a bit more effort, not knowing, you know, how crook he really was. So, you know, that